talked about school trust lands and how much.
Utah Representatives Celeste Maloy and John Curtis hosted a House Subcommittee field hearing at the Rock Bowl of the Sand Hollow Resort on Monday that focused on issues of federal overreach and acting in bad faith related to public lands in the state. Maloy and Curtis were joined by fellow Utah Congressman Blake Moore, as well as a handful of witnesses asked to testify at the hearing. Following the hearing, Maloy and Curtis summed up what they felt the primary takeaway was.
The main message from this hearing is that the system we have is not working well for the people of Utah. We have a lot of public land in our state, and in order to do things like plan roads, we have to go through federal processes, and the federal processes are so broken and so onerous that these are decades-long processes when they should be months-long processes, and that's expensive. It's inefficient, it doesn't work well for anybody, it keeps a bunch of lawyers in business, but it isn't serving the people of Utah well, and that's what we were trying to draw out into the sunlight and let the public be part of solving today.
Well, we clearly wanted to point out how hard it is to work with the federal government on these difficult public lands issues, and how hard particularly this community has worked to satisfy the federal government. So here in St. George, for decades, they have been working on what's called the Northern Corridor to get a transportation route through there. They have run into environmental concerns, and they haven't taken those lightly. They've worked very, very hard to satisfy those, and in every case, satisfied the demands, and yet the goalpost keeps moving.
Critics of the hearing, such as Holly Snow Canada of Conserve Southwest Utah, said it was full of misinformation and lacked transparency due to not allowing public comment.
So today's hearing excluded local and Indigenous voices. It was full of misinformation and irony and hypocrisy. We're out here today. This hearing was announced about only 1 week ago. It's being held in the middle of the workday during the hottest part of the day, and at a location that's about a half-an-hour drive from St. George. It's challenging to get here. We heard from a lot of people who couldn't be out in the sun all day, who wanted to be here, but couldn't make it out here, or they had to work.
Noting the lack of other committee members and witnesses with contrary opinions, Curtis said both Republican and Democratic members of the committee had been invited to take part with their own witnesses, yet chose not to attend. To learn more, read the story. This is Mori Kessler reporting for St. George News, your #1 source for local news.